these glasses and hat is tripping me out too. It's pretty funny. All right, so where did we last leave off? We're talking about how to negotiate with sellers once they come to your leads, any one way or another, through your website, through your voicemail, phone call. Either way, you've got a lead coming in, and we're starting with what to do next, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the first thing to do is evaluate the property, which there's already a video on, but you want to try to get all the information that you can before you call them, so it's not so much just like an interview shooting off question after question. So whatever research you can find, the beds, bath, the size, square footage, all that basic stuff, almost anywhere, unless you're in, like I said, non-disclosure state, you can get all that information online. There's no sense wasting the crucial rapport building time on the phone call with basic questions you can already find ahead of time. Now, if they just left a voicemail that said call me, then you have to go through those questions, and there should be a sheet below that has a list of all the basic call questions and even a little sample script. So you'll have all of that below, but basically you should have all your information on the property statistics, where all you need to do is just have a conversation with them. When you're on the phone call, just ask open-ended, positive questions. Questions like, tell me everything you love about the property, or what are some of the things I can expect, or how good is this neighborhood? Would you live there? What made you originally buy this house? Questions that may not actually help you much in the decision, but it helps in building rapport. And that's the most important. People will do business with you if they like you more than anything else. And we were talking about earlier the old school way, which everyone still teaches, and it is highly effective. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but that's getting them to focus on all the pain points. That's talking about why they need to sell. You ask them how bad are their tenants, what are all the repairs that you're going to need to pay for. You remind them of how much the taxes are. You remind them of how long it's going to be on the market and how much it's going to cost them with going with anyone else, and how much fees are going to be. You talk about things like how bad the market is and how tough it is to find real buyers, and then you, after spending 80% of the call talking about all the negative things and why they need to sell so bad, then you end it with why you're the hero and how you're going to help them by purchasing it quick in 30 days and helping them out. But it's just not the way I prefer. So I actually like to keep the conversation light, get them talking about all the good things that they love, get them liking you. Like, I want to build a relationship with them, a long-term relationship, because most of these people are investors, and you're going to find a lot of people have more than one property. So if the transaction is good and they enjoy speaking with you, and even if they're not ready to sell then, they'll keep your card. They will refer you to other people who are selling. They will call you when their other property, when they're ready to sell one of their other properties. They may even just sell another property that they weren't even consider selling to you just because they enjoy talking to you. So those are different benefits that I prefer when you use the positive approach rather than the negative. So when you get them on the phone, just the first thing you say is, "Hi, I am so and so. I'm returning your call about the property. Is now a good time?" So,
sorry, man.
That's all right. The mustache looks good on you. So you always want to start off on a positive note. Make sure you get their permission to talk with them. Say is now a good time. Sometimes they'll say no. Like say you can have, it's probably going to take 10, 15 minutes. But make sure they have the time. You don't want to get cut off in the middle. Other important questions you do want to ask, things like, is there anyone else on the title? Or are you the sole one who can make this decision? Purchasing decision. Otherwise, if you can, try to get everyone who's involved on the call at the same time. It'll definitely help if you can speak to the primary person on the deed, but if not, that's not a big deal as much because they can just transfer the information. When it gets down to it, you can talk to them later. So what other questions did you have on getting started to start making these calls? I know you said it's only been, what is it? We are about probably a week and a half in with you. I know we kind of got a slow start, but maybe 2 weeks. And you already got leads calling you and voicemails for potential people who are ready to sell, correct?
That's correct, yep.
So yeah, it'd be great. Give them a call back. We could possibly have you under contract with a deal by tomorrow. By the time you make some calls back, you could literally have a deal ready to go.
That'd be awesome.
In about 2 weeks. Total time so far, you could already have a deal underway and basically just be waiting for a check.
I would love that. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, because selling it is easy. Trust me. You get it at the right price. Selling it is easy. I say this all the time, though. There's only one reason a house doesn't sell. And if it's been on the market 6 months, a year, doesn't matter. I can tell you there is always only one reason a house is not selling, and that's it's not at the right price. I don't care what the house looks like. It can be missing the floors and have no windows and doors. If it was priced for $10, you'd have 100 people trying to buy it. So if you're wondering why your house hasn't sold yet, you're asking too much. Flat out, plain and simple. So when you have your property under contract that you're looking to sell, if you have it at the right price, you'll know because you'll get offers within a couple days from investors and people who already know the area. If it's been 2 weeks and you haven't found any buyers, your price is too high. Pretty simple. But that's next week. We're already getting ahead. That's selling it. So we're still wanting to get through everything on negotiating with them and what to say in the call. So do you pretty much, I mean, does it seem like it's easier now? Like you just go on and have a conversation with them, and then afterwards usually I'll email them a contract, or you end the call with, there's only one required line. You end the call with, okay, so if I paid all your closing costs in all cash and we could close in 7 days, what's the least amount you would take? And then you wait for their answer. That's the question. If I could close in 7 days, paid all your closing costs, all cash, what would be the least amount you would take? And then let them hear their answer. Hear their answer and explain it. And then when they say it, say, is that the best you can do? Say, is that the absolute best? And then you work from there depending on what they say. If they say a price that's already really good that you were hoping for, then you say, fantastic. I'm going to send you over a really simple one-page contract, really easy to understand, and we can get this started immediately. And if it's too high, if they're asking too much, then you can say something like, I understand that's That's a little bit higher than what I would expect to pay as an investor. What sounds like you're asking for retail price, and your best bet to get retail price is to list it with the real estate agent and put it on the MLS. And I'm glad that you're able to wait nine months to get that price. For a retail buyer, is someone who's, a homeowner who's buying the property to live in it. Those are the ones that pay retail price. As you know, seller, I am an investor. I'm going to have to put money into this and fix it up and either rent it or resell it at retail price myself, but I'm going to have to put time and money into it. So I am not the end buyer, so I won't be able to pay retail price, because then I would need to sell it for higher than retail price in order to make my money back. So that doesn't make sense for me. So in order for this to make sense for me and be able to help you if you want to get it sold fast, I would need a little bit more of a discount. If you're not in position to do that, if you rather wait for your price, I know a great real estate agent I can refer you, and he can get you set up on the MLS, and I wish you the best, and hopefully you get your price. But if you're looking for an alternative and you just want to get this thing done and wrapped up, would that make sense to discount it in order to not have to wait 9 to 12 months? And then you wait for an answer. If they say, nope, I got to have my price, and you say, okay, thank you, would you like the referral to the real estate agent, and we can put you on the MLS and look for a first-time home buyer who's looking for retail price. Otherwise, you say thank you, and then I'll end the call, and then if it seems like it's a dead deal, that they're stuck on their price, I'll usually go ahead and send them an offer anyway, and then throw it in, toss that lead and go to the next one. So if the house is worth $310 and they're asking $310, which is, if they're asking the exact market value because they got some appraisal, and you'll get that. You'll get someone who says, well, I just got an appraisal done, 3 months ago for $275, so I'm asking $275. Or you'll hear the neighbor's house across the street sold for $275, so I'm expecting $275. And if that's what high retail is going for, and that's what they're expecting, then I'll usually end the call and offer them. I'll send an offer or email anyway for $200. I always end with asking them their email, and I'll just send the one-page offer offering $200. And in the email, I'll say, I know this isn't what you were asking, just putting it out there as an option. If not, good luck to you, and hopefully you got in contact with the real estate agent. But if it's still not selling on the market and you want to quick sell it, you have my information. And then you go to the next one. That's pretty much it. It's, you say it once or 2 or 3 times, you go through it, and you're just having a conversation with them over and over. It's really easy. You just get on there and just talk. Talk, build rapport, get them in a good mood, make it a positive experience, and then ask them. All you really got to do is ask them what's the least they'll take, and you'll already know what that number is because you should have done your research evaluating the property first. So if you evaluate the property and you say, you know what, this will be a good deal if I can get it for at least $200, and then you ask them what's the least they'll take, and they say $175, well, you already know it's a deal because you did your research first. So it makes it a little weird if you go into the conversation and you don't even know what's a good price to ask them. So you really want to do your research first and at least have a ballpark of where you need to be at. As far as negotiating, worrying about how much rehab it needs or the repairs and taxes and all that stuff, I don't even worry about any of that. Like I said, I'll take whatever the market value is, basic formula. If it's worth $275, I'll automatically knock off, $15,000 for rehab, just as a flat number. It may change depending on your area. I knock off 15,000 for repairs and quick sell price. So if it's worth 275, I already know I'm 260 or even 255 is my number for a quick sell, and then I'll go 70% of that. So without doing any research, all I see is that other homes are selling for 275. I already know that I can't be over 200 to make it a good deal already. So everything else in the conversation, knowing that, it just frees you up. The whole phone call now is just talking with people and having a conversation. You already know you need to be at 200, and that's it. So, so anything else, it doesn't even really matter. I don't care about the baths, the beds, all that stuff. I really don't care. The end buyer may want all that information, but I really don't. I get that. Basically build a conversation, get them in a good mood. I already know my price. I ask them their number, see if they're close. Not, I send them an offer anyway. If they are close and it's workable, they say 210, then I'll maybe send them an offer for 210, and I'll market it and see what I can do with it. And then if not, again, we just move on to the next one. If you can find a bunch of buyers at 210 and you know you're at a good price, then you're good. But yeah, that's my whole process, is do the research first and just have a conversation.
So James, if they were to kind of question the whole process, like say like so if I'm asking 310, so you're just gonna pay me 310, but since it's kind of going through our so like our network, since we're handing it off, how do we kind of explain that? Because we're not really making them a 310 offer right now. We're just kind of contracting it.
Right. I usually don't. You don't really have to explain that. For the most part, all they really care is that the house is getting sold. So what you usually say is, I'm an investor. I look for great properties in the area, and if I like it, if I find a good property that I'm gonna buy, if I like it, I'll keep it and turn it and do something with it, or if not, I'll hand it off to one of my partners or teammates. And that's all I usually say to that. So I'll say I'm an investor. I buy and sell properties in the area, fix and rehab, and sometimes I have partners who may want to do rentals. If they want to hold on to it for a rental, I'll hand it off to one of my partners who's into acquisitions and holding or whatever right now. And if I like it, I'll keep it. But either way, we'll get it sold.
Got you.
So when it gets down to, the contract and assigning it over, you'll just say, yeah, a partner of mine is going to be the one who finally closes on it. He liked this deal so much, I'm going to hand it off to him. He's going to take over. He likes it.
Cool.
I know you had some other questions in the email. I can't remember right now. What else did you have? You said a little overwhelmed and apprehensive about the calls, or you said you didn't know what to do next.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a lot of what to do next now.
Okay. Did you already research any other properties, evaluate them?
I haven't. I just have the information down here. I took some notes from what they said.
Did everybody leave the property address on the voicemail?
Yes, they did.
I said, sometimes you'll get the looky-loos who just say, hey, I got your card, want more information, give me a call. And yeah, I don't like going in blind, but you'll get those. But since you have if they actually gave you the property address, you're good. So you'll know everything to do
Cool.
right before you even call them.
Cool. Yeah, there was somebody called and it kind of popped on. They're like, hello, 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 like 4 times, and then hung up.
Yeah, you'll get those too. And you'll get the same person calling 3 times in a row and just listening to the voicemail and then not leaving a voicemail. I get a lot of those. They see the same call, they'll listen to it,
Like,
hear the whole
go
voicemail,
back again.
hang up, and then call back again. That's weird. So you go through evaluating the properties and make some calls and just ask them. Remember, end it with, if I pay all cash, close. If I can pay you all cash, pay all your closing costs, and close in 7 days. What's the least you would take? Just get them to commit to a number. If they ask, well, what are you offering, or they try to put it back on you, just say, well, I want to make sure I'm not insulting you and want to make sure we're even in the ballpark. So I really need to know where you are. So always get them to say their number first. Never, ever mention your offer price before them. Even if they don't want to give a price and they're adamant, then you can just send an offer afterwards and then say, if they say anything, say, well, that's why I asked you for your price, so I know I'm not wasting your time or wasting my time. So I know your time is extremely valuable, and I don't want to waste your time with a low offer that insults you. So if you could at least give me an idea or ballpark, so we at least know where to start. And that's where I would do. So main takeaway is just ask questions. Whole phone call, get them talking, positive, open-ended questions, get them talking, build rapport, end it with what's the least you would take, and you'll already know if that's in the way. If you've done your research, you'll know, okay, great, or looks like you're asking retail, is that the best you can do? As you know, I'm an investor, not the retail buyer. The retail price at appraised value that you've gotten is the price at the market peak that the average retail home buyer would pay if they were buying it for a primary residence. You say that appraised price is considering perfect conditions, a perfect homeowner with perfect credit who comes in with a loan and buys the property. That's what they can expect to pay. And now, like I said, you're welcome to shoot for that price, but that's retail. You have to play in the retail market, and that's the MLS. But if you want it sold by a cash investor, pay all closing costs, and have this thing just done, if you want to just get it done in a week or less and move on, would that be worth discounting it for you? If they say no, then you go, okay, well, thank you. Like I said, I'll get you to my realtor, and you can go ahead and shoot for your ridiculously high price. But I never say that. I always leave it positive. I'm never pushy, and never want to try to force them into it and keep pushing the price. If they're set on it, I move to the next one. Seriously, there are so many deals, so many people selling houses right now, so many people who need your help. Never waste any time pushing it or forcing someone, trying to persuade them, so to speak, and convince them to do business with you. You want to do business with people that want to do business with you. So if they're like, I need $375, that's my price, I need it, then wish them well and help them if you can. I like that one. Wish them well You'll have a long list of realtors. The longer you're in this, you're just going to have a list of different realtors. Build some relationships with a few that you send these leads to that are no deals, and go to the next one. Seriously, do not worry about it. Don't spend any extra time on it. Don't fall in love with any house. If you're like, I really want this one, this could be a really good deal, but they're stuck on this price. Just move on. You'll find more deals. Time wasted. Another thing to consider is, even if you're close on price, you can lower your commissions. Because I said, even getting $500, if you have to lower it to that, is better than losing the deal altogether. So if they're asking if the house is worth $310 and you want it to be around $200 and they won't go lower than $250, and you've already got buyers list and you get it at $250, then send it out at $255. See if you get any hits. If maybe you didn't get at your price, but maybe you can just charge $500 or $1,000 to sign it just to move on. So even if you're close, you can spend a couple days marketing it. If you get any hits and it's awesome, then sign it over for $500. Just get rid of it. But if you get that great deal where they're down to $200, just know that there's so many deals. You don't have to spend so much time going back and forth, changing the price and all this negotiating. I just don't do it. So many other programs will teach that, and they'll even say, like, a week before closing, I've heard people say stuff like, a week before closing, threaten that you're going to back out of the deal now that they're already anticipating it, cleaning out, ready to go. Say that you found, some extra things wrong and you're going to back out of the deal because it's going to cost more than you expect unless you lower it another $6,000 or $7,000. There's courses that actually teach that teach wait until the last minute and threaten to drop out unless they lower it a little more. And it works because now they're already set. They're already in the mind frame of moving. They've already got their stuff out. No one wants to see the deal fall through, so they'll do anything to get the deal to fall through. That. Exactly. And they are effective. These things work. I personally don't feel good doing any of that. I said, with my site, Coach Comeback, I'm trying to teach positiveness and improving people's lives. I would not feel good about myself doing a deal where I use some of these underhanded tactics just to try to pinch more money out of them. There's so much money flowing around. There's enough to make it a win-win for everyone in the deal. There's no need to use tactics like this just to squeeze another, couple thousand out of the deal. Take what you get. Know you're doing a good deed for someone, and leave room for the seller to make money, and leave room for the buyer, the new investor, to make money. You're just getting a small fraction. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12,000, depending on property prices. You're getting a small fraction, but think about that. The end buyer, if he's gonna, if it's worth $210, you're selling it. If it's worth $300 and you're selling it for $220, and you got it under contract for $200, so you make $20,000. He still has $80,000, the end buyer, and the homeowner is still getting $200,000. So you want to make sure you're making the least out of the deal. You want to make sure you're leaving room for your buyers, because they'll buy more from you, they'll love you, and you want to make sure your seller is taken care of, because they're going through a lot. They're selling a house. There's usually emotional attachment to that, and all kinds of things that's going on. Selling a house is a big deal for people, so your job is to make it as pleasant as possible for them, and there's no need to rely on these tactics. Properties will come to you. If you're doing good for people, it'll spread back. So spread goodness and don't rely on those kind of tactics just to get a couple extra bucks. What else are we missing?
The only last question I have is, if for some reason we didn't sell the home, so would you just just shoot them an email and just say, hey, it didn't work out, sorry?
No, you got to do a proper cancellation of contract. That's another form. As long as you're within your, you always want to put how many every days. If you put 7 days, if you put 30 days, if you put 60, whatever you put on the contract before the end of it, you always want to send them a formal cancellation. You say it didn't work out. This property is going to need way more repairs and fix up than I initially anticipated. We found some stuff in the inspection that's just not going to work, and I'll send them a 1-page cancellation of contract. Yeah, I mean you'll call them and be in contact with them and tell them that too, but officially you should send it in writing.
Gotcha.
And
okay, cool.
Technically, like you said, an email probably, and I'm no lawyer, not no my legal disclaimer, but I know, just like you've written contracts on the back of a napkin before, that if it's in any form of writing, it can technically pass, especially email because it's electronic and time stamped and you can prove it. But I can get into all that. Just be official and send it in writing in the contract, saying that you're canceling something, saying you're canceling the contract before the end of your inspection period.
Cool, good to know.
Yep. And any other questions?
Not right now.
Awesome. Well, that was going over the proper negotiating with sellers once you have the leads, what to do next after evaluating the property and making the phone calls. Thank you for being on the call, Bradley.
Sure, James.
Hopefully by the time we have our next call, you will be under contract, and then you'll be freaking out because you have so many people calling back saying they want the property for sale, and you'll be worried about title documents and where you're going to cash your check.
Awesome. Sounds great, man. Thanks a lot.
Sweet. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next video.
All right. See ya.